Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 7-Minute AE Tutorials, where you learn tips, tricks, and shortcuts in 7 minutes or less. No BS, just AE. We've created a character's head, body, and we've rigged our character. In this episode, we're going to dive into DUIK, a free third-party plugin that's designed specifically for rigging characters. I decided to cover this topic first because it makes more sense to cover DUIK before we go over character movements. I highly recommend getting this plugin and watching as many tutorials as you can that fully cover what DUIK can do. We'll be scratching the surface today, but we will cover enough that you can work with DUIK, rig your character, and start animating. There's a ton to get through, so let's dive right in. I have DUIK already installed, and let me just show you real quick how to get this plugin to work on your computer. So if you go to Google, type in DUIK, D-U-I-K. You can just click this first link right here, DUIK Rainbox. And right here on their homepage, there's a download link. So you can just click that. I'm doing this episode from my Mac, so I would choose Mac Installer. If you're on a Mac, you want to install that under Applications. I'm using After Effects CC 2018. Go into your scripts, and this will go into your script UI panels. And if you're working on Windows, likewise, you need to put this in your script UI panels. Make sure you restart After Effects, and this can be found in After Effects under the Window tab. If you scroll down, you'll see it right here, DUIK, and then you stock it wherever is convenient for you and you're ready to roll. Okay, so we have already rigged our character, which is helpful when using DUIK because you would rig the character in the same exact way. Now, DUIK creates some null layers that make character movements a lot easier, so that way you don't have to necessarily adjust each one of these layers independently. First thing, let's get rid of our main control here, because we're not going to need that for DUIK. We're only going to be using a few of these controls with DUIK. The ones we're going to focus on are controllers and IK. As you can see, there are a lot of other options and things you can do with DUIK, but for now, let's just focus on the very bare minimum of what we need to do in order to move this character around. For our legs, we need to add an extra layer. Right now we have upper leg, shoe, lower leg. We need to add in a layer for the ankle or the heel. Let's just duplicate this shoe layer, and we'll call this right heel. And then let's call this right toe. Solo the right heel and the right toe. We can just take out this rectangle path 1 for right toe. And then for right heel, we want to just keep the rectangle path 1. So we can get rid of that rectangle path and the ellipse path. Combined, these two make up our shoe. And for DUIK, it really needs to have these 4 layers for the leg in order to work. Do the same thing for our other leg. So let's solo left shoe, duplicate it. Call this top one left heel, and the one underneath it left toe. And for our toe layer, we're going to get rid of that first rectangle. And for our left heel, we're going to keep only the rectangle. The right toe needs to be parented to the right heel. The right heel is already parented to the lower leg, and same thing for the left toe, parent that to our left heel. We need to make sure that our anchor points are in the correct position. So for the right heel, let's move this anchor point to the bottom middle, and let's move our toe anchor point to just the back of the toe. So then we'll do the same thing for our other leg. Left heel needs to come down here to the bottom middle, and then our toe needs to come to the back of our toe right here. Once you apply the plugin, you can't go back and adjust your anchor points. So I'm just going to go through here to make sure all of these are going to move properly. So see, our knee doesn't quite move right. So let me just make a few adjustments here. Maybe move it more to the middle. And if you just adjust your rotation, you can see how it's going to move. Let's do the same thing for our other lower leg. Move it more to the middle. That looks right. And then let's do the same thing for our upper leg. So maybe move it down to about right here. Let's do our left upper leg also down here a little bit to the middle. Then we'll take our left upper leg and our right upper leg. I'm going to scooch those down a little bit. Let's move our belt layer above our legs. That way, when we're moving our upper leg, it stays beneath it. One of the things that's really important also is that your limbs have no rotation on them. So let's highlight our lower leg, click R to bring up our rotation, and just set all these to 0. And same thing with the lower leg. Bring up rotation, set them all to 0. And then we'll do the same thing for our arms. Bring up all of our arm layers, R for rotation, and click those to 0. Let's move our arms above our legs. It's kind of overlapping there. Thumb is facing the wrong direction. This is from our last lesson. Just set this to 0. First, you have to create a controller. So this layer will be controlled through the heel. So we just want to click this controllers button. It creates a null object that says right heel. And I like to just move it down right above where these other layers are and use the same color. So the way you choose these layers is very important. We go the opposite direction that we do when rigging. So grab our right upper leg, right lower leg, right heel. Don't choose the toe layer, but choose the right heel null instead. And then we just want to click this IK button. 2 layer is correct, and create. This right heel layer controls our leg. We want to uncheck goal right heel, and then this stretch button. If you leave that connected, your limbs will become disconnected the further out you go. Uncheck auto stretch, then it stays correct like that. As you move this null object, your knee is going to bend in the correct position. Now that we have this null object here, we don't really need to see these other layers. So just select all of these right leg layers, click on our shy button, then let's enable it right here. And that just takes some of these layers out because we don't need to see those other layers. Everything is controlled by this null object. So let's do the same thing with our left heel. With left heel selected, controllers, bring that above, change it to the same color. And then we want to select upper leg, lower leg, heel, and then the layer heel. IK. Create. Then we want to uncheck this goal left heel and also uncheck our auto stretch option. Then let's highlight all of these leg layers, click on the shy guy, and just to kind of test it out real quick, we can kind of move it around a little bit, make sure it's going to move correctly, and it does. And for the arms, we don't need that 4th layer. We can just start right from the hand. So with right hand selected, controllers, it moves right up here, change this to green. And then we want to go right upper arm, right lower arm, hand, and hand. IK, create. Uncheck our goal right hand and uncheck auto stretch. Select these right hand layers, shy that away, and we'll do the same thing with our left arm. So with left hand selected, choose controllers, move this above our left hand, change this to orange. We'll go left upper arm, left lower arm, left hand, IK, create, and then we'll get rid of these arm layers here. So as his arm moves, we need to make sure we uncheck goal, left hand, and auto stretch. Click on the clockwise button to make his arm move the opposite direction. Now with this goal left hand, if you leave that checked, if you watch his hand, see how his hand doesn't move properly with the arm. There are other uses for this goal option here. That's a different tutorial. Main thing to remember is to choose the layers in DUIK in the opposite direction in which we rigged, and don't choose your toe layer. And also you want to take off this goal option if you're going to be animating in this manner, and as well as your auto stretch. So we've only touched on the control option and the IK option. As you can see, there are a ton of other options that you can use, so your possibilities really are limitless with this plugin. I'm including the project files below. Experiment with DUIK and practice animating your character. Next week, we'll create some basic movements to get you started with your character animations. Thanks for watching. See you next time.